we say? Who help me fix up Humphrey? In the BLR, Britain held out and two. Who help me clean up Humphrey?
So we want you to
Humphrey is a community man. People over politics, that is the plan. When you see the white Highland fan, Humphrey the stop talk where you shake your hand.
vote, put down your head.
Vote. Good night, good night, good night. Good night to the good people of St. George North. All family. Good night to my Barbados Labour Party family. And of course, to my St. Michael South family. And to all of the family here to support the best candidate for this constituency, Tony Moore. You know, I come here tonight feeling really good and feeling really proud because I know that I am part of a government that has been delivering for the people. And I know that the things we said we were going to do, we have done a lot of them. And by the time we come back to you in 2 more years and ask you for your vote, we would have done all of them. And as Cappy said, there are very few governments that can boast of having done all the things they said they were going to do the way this Labour Party government has done. Give this party a round of applause. But I am proud tonight to say that I support Tony Moore. And I want to tell you all a story you may not know. When I was appointed Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, one of the tasks you have as a minister is to pick your board. And I was responsible for picking the board in the port. And the port has a lot of issues, or had, with the unions, as unions do all over the world in ports. And so I called the Prime Minister. One of the first things I did after she appointed me, I said, Prime Minister, I want to put somebody from Labour on the board in the port. It had never been done before. I said, I want to put somebody from Labour on the board. And the Prime Minister said to me, Kirk, what do you think my answer to that is? I said, I think your answer would be yes. She said, proceed, young man, put somebody from the union on that board. And so we set out to deal frontally with the issues confronting the port. And the reason we did it was because we knew that if you are going to lead people, you don't run away from the things you have to face. A former Prime Minister said you face it and you fix it. And we have been facing it and fixing it. So the reason that the port and Barbados really was able to win that Sea Trade Cruise Destination of the Year award is because we were able in the port to work together in unison with Labour and with the people. And we dedicated that award to the people in the Bridgetown port, the men and women who worked every day for you. So I know that this situation works. I know that Labour and the Barbados Labour Party government can work. The thing that Tony Moore said to me when I went to meet her, I didn't say, come to my office. We are not an arrogant government. I went to her. And I said to Tony Moore, Tony, I would really appreciate if somebody would serve on this board. And Tony said to me, I will consider it. But know that if somebody from this union is on the port board, they are there to represent the workers. And I said, but that is why I want you, so that we can tackle these problems from the start. That is what good governance is. That is what good governance is. And that issue had been settled years ago, or so we thought. Our forefathers dealt with this. And now they have come, this Democratic Labour Party lot, and disturbing the memories of men who are resting in peace at the altar of political expediency, hoping it would give them political advantage in this constituency. But we already know that we have good governance and they had poor governance. So we were not compromising good governance. We were consolidating good governance. It works. Having Tony Moore on our team will work. It makes a lot of sense. So don't let the Democratic Labour Party trick you. They want to execute Tony Moore and exonerate themselves. But the General Secretary of the Barbados Unions of Teachers is the Deputy General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party. And they don't see anything wrong with that. But we want Tony Moore so we could deliver for the people. We've seen what poor governance does. Barbados was the third most indebted country in the world. There was a point when Guyana was not taking Barbadian money because the Democratic Labour Party brought us to that. Do you wish to go back to that? Do you wish to go back to having to decide if you can send school your girl child or your boy child? Because the Democratic Labour Party took all the money and you can't see where it was spent. This election is not a referendum on us. It is a referendum on them. And I hope at the end of the day we choose right. But you know what is happening now. The Democratic Labour Party is trying to rebrand themselves in front of you. A political sleight of hand. They want to trick you. So all of a sudden, they have a new Democratic Labour Party. Reverend Durant, Derek Allen, Andy Sam Verla. I even see the guitar pick. They got taught with an umbrella covering Floyd. So they want to rebrand themselves in front of you, but meet the new Dems, same as the old Dems. And don't let them trick you. Do not let them trick you. They're trying to rebrand themselves in front of you. And then they're trying to rebrand Verla. Trying to position Verla that she is some leader now in this country because she won an internal election. But I know if you want to talk about leadership, you have to stand for something. And none of you can associate Verla de Pisa with a single cause. She's not associated with a single cause in leadership. So if you are causeless, you should talk less. Because she has done nothing for this country. And they're trying now to rebrand her as the newcomer in leadership. And you know, I read about 2 days ago in the newspaper, Verla said that Prime Minister Motley is taking her ideas in education. Well, that has to be the biggest joke of all. And I remembered an article, and I would want to read it to you. It is dated November 20th, 2017. Verla said that Mia is stealing her ideas in education. Listen to Verla. This is at a meeting of the Democratic Labour Party for no other than Donville. And mind you, she said she was going to support Donville. You ain't hear he said yet. And the moment the facts come in, let what happened to Donville be a cautionary tale for all of you. Throw the man under the bus. He did not see it coming. Maybe it was one of these new electrical buses. He didn't hear it. But here, Verla, this is the same one that's saying Mia stealing her ideas. She is reported as saying, Senator Verla de Pisa in her address on Sunday night also sought to defend the DLP policies, this time in education. She said the government's decision to implement self-paid tuition fees at the University of the West Indies Cayfield campus was a wise one, as it would push more young ones to pursue education in technical and vocational fields. Prime Minister Motley is insisting that young people in this country be educated at UE for free. Verla is saying that to make you pay is a wise decision. How in God's name is Mia stealing anything from Verla? And to make it worse, she then went on to say it would force people into technical and vocational fields. She does not begin to understand what we need in this country. But the most hurtful thing of all, not that I'm saying that what happened before is not hurtful, because I am embarrassed that to see these men all of a sudden pretending that they have something to offer, it hurts me. But the most hurtful thing is what they're doing to Floyd. They want to rebrand Floyd too. So all of a sudden now you're hearing Floyd talking about Best and Bert and all kinds of things. And I'm not talking about whether he's reading his notes or not, that's for him. But not speaking in his authentic voice. We do not know what he stands for up to now. We have no idea what he stands for. My advice to you, Floyd, is to thine own self be true. Because if you can't be true to yourself, you cannot be true to the people. And St. George North wants somebody who is true to themselves and true to the people. They want Tony Moore. And beyond that, we are being told about Floyd Reefer that he is a community man. There is a very big difference between being a man from the community and a community man. Floyd is a man from the community, but a community man has a record. Show me the record. What have you done in the service of the people for this community? If you are a community man, and that is how they are branding him now, I don't think it is Floyd. I think it is unfortunate that they're using Floyd that way. But there is a big difference. Tony has a record of serving people. She would then be the real person who is a community person. And they're trying to do it in front of you. And you know what? This would be comic if it were not so tragic. It would make me laugh. But it is too dangerous. The situation too delicate. Our position too fragile to allow this kind of mockery to be made of the people of this constituency and the people of this country. We are too fragile to allow all that we have achieved in the last 2 years to be withered away. And, you know, if you think about it, and you have to understand the tragedy of it all, if you think about it, the Democratic Labour Party in office was a government that was curved inward, looking at themselves. If you look at their ministries, looking at themselves. If you listen to their platform, curved inward, looking at themselves. But the more you curve inward, you bend your back, and anybody can ride you. And Martin Luther King warned you that we have places to go. Straighten up your back. Lift your shoulders. Mia Motley is leading you to something. Stay the course. Stay the course. It is shameful what they did to this country. And it is shameful now that they have the audacity to walk around and beg you for a vote. Well, you should have the temerity now to tell them, walk on. Keep on going where you're going. Because we have places to go. And we have things to do. I am disturbed by it. You know, I remember, and I will not forget, in my constituency, there was a young man back in 2017. And the hurtful thing was that he told me he had no belief in anybody, in anything, because politicians were the same. And that the government had so let him down, he had no faith. That same young man just started a business with a trust loan. He now has faith. We have been able to bring faith back to the people after it was taken by the Democratic Labour Party. Give Tony Moore your vote. Give Tony Moore a chance. And I would tell you every week in cabinet, some issue, something happened. You're hearing about something else. The body do this, the government did this. It is hurtful. And I want to tell you some of the things that I found and why I can't go back. I have responsibility, and I want to talk to you tonight in very serious terms. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to talk to you in serious terms. I came to office, I told myself, and every morning I tell myself the same thing: may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable, Lord, in your sight, and especially here tonight. I tell myself so, because I say I do not want to become anything like the last government. I got a message this morning from a friend of mine, Adrian. He said, Kirk, you remain humble. No matter what you do, you remain humble in politics. And God knows I am trying. And that is why I serve the people in St. Michael South the way that I do. I wasn't born rich. I didn't enter politics to get rich. But I know people didn't deserve to stay poor when they could do better. That's the DLP way. I heard Floyd saying that the BLP about making poor people poor. What foolishness is this? But in my ministry, and I have responsibility for a few areas, we found in the markets a state that would make your heart. I got pictures today. We just started fixing them by that part of Bridgetown. The whole place broke down. It had not been fixed once in 10 years. In 10 years. Have you been to Oyston's Market lately? Have y'all been to Oyston's lately? The vendors in Oyston's tell me that they are so happy to see the work that we have done, not for the government, man, But for the people and for the vendors, how you could tell me we don't care about poor people or millionaires in the oysters market? They tell me they are satisfied. We've done it in Oystins. We do it in Bridgetown. We do it in Spikestone. We do it in Tent Bay. We just start Pile Bay for $1 million. We're about to do Western. We're doing all the markets, taking care of people because the Democratic Labour Party did nothing for them. And then in fisheries, same scenario. Whole place popped down. Fishermen telling me there is no place for them to come in and bring their boats. We just approved in this government. We just approved for Oystins to repair the jetty for $1.3 million in a time of COVID. Now, how you could tell me we don't care about poor people? 1.3 in Bridgetown, 2.6 million to repair the jetties there so people could bring in their boats. And if you talk to a fisherman, every time there is bad weather, they have to shiver because they can't get their boats lifted out because Barbados did not have a proper slipway. So we're repairing the one at Concept Bay for the fishermen. We ain't done there. In Pile Bay, Barbados ain't got one proper one, no, we got a half. So we fixing one, you count them. In Pile Bay, we are renovating Pile Bay, we putting in another slipway. That is 2. In Bridgetown, where we're doing the jetties, we're doing a major one there that is costing the government $650,000. That is 3. And in the Bridgetown port, as part of our redevelopment, a haul-out facility there as well that will be multi-millions. That is 4. So we're moving from a situation where fishermen can't get haul-out at all to having 4 haul-out facilities for the fisher folk. And we are doing that in a time of COVID. No government in the Caribbean, not one, can do what we are doing now for people. And the reason we are able to do that now is because of the decisions Prime Minister Motley made in the first 2 years. We do not know what a gem we have in the Prime Minister. I love those buses. Tomville don't like them so much though. But we are doing, in a time of COVID, a lot. And the Prime Minister of Barbados has to be given her due. And I could understand the Democratic Labour Party don't like women. Don't let them forget, don't forget how to curse me on every platform. And that Verla de Pisa was on the same platform. Meet the new Dems. Same as the old Dems. But she was on every platform. Well, they cursed the Prime Minister, but they cursed me then. Time and time again. So we leave there now and we go to shipping. Because I want you to understand what we are doing for you. When we came into office in June of 2018, I received a report. Barbados was audited. They said that our shipping sector was weak and faulty. And that Barbados fell down not in one area, not in 2 areas or 3, in 23 areas. Barbados performing among the worst when it comes to shipping in the whole Caribbean. Among the worst. And we are now working day by day diligently to make sure that when we are audited in the next few years, that we are in a situation where we're the best. As a matter of fact, we've already brought so much legislation. We now have more legislation on the way than any other country in 2 years. This government is working for you. Don't let nobody fool you. And then we determined early that Barbadians have to be safe. We have determined earlier that Barbadians have to be safe. And so last year when we were having a cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister and I had a conversation. And we felt that it was necessary to teach young people to swim. We felt it was necessary that young Barbadians needed to swim. And this summer, just gone, we taught 1,000 young Barbadian men and women to swim. And we didn't get enough poo-poo trainers. We had best of Barbados training them, the people who train the national team and others. So 1,000 young people now can swim because they have to be safe. Because safety is important to us. And then we also determined that when they're swimming in the sea, that they have to be safe there too. And if you go to Carlisle Bay now, and over the next few weeks, we are putting in corridors to make sure that Barbadians are safe. So jet skis and other boats now, when they come to shore, have to be in a lane. So you won't be seeing them zipping past you, putting your life at risk. We are taking care of the people. But the biggest move is in the Bridgetown port, and I want to read some things to you. In the port of Bridgetown, because when we came in, you all remember global ports, the Prime Minister spoke of it a lot. When the Democratic Labour Party was selling out the port for $34 million, and that every year the deal was the people would make about $30 million, and they had the contract for 30 years. So we would sell it for $34 million pretty much, and they would make back the money in the first year almost, and had 29 years of profit at $30 million. Is that not madness to you? Well, we came in and we stopped it. We said the port of Barbados, if anything is going to happen, it has to go to the people of Barbados. We stopped it, but we did not stop there. When we came in, there were 52 cameras in the Bridgetown port. Of the 52 cameras, 22 were not working. We now have 88 views of the Bridgetown port. They're telling us about security. We keeping you safe. They were joking about it. On top of that, we are buying 80 more cameras to put in the Bridgetown port. Who is trying to keep you safe? And who is talking about it? We then turned around and bought a scanner in the port for $9 million. That scanner will scan every single container leaving the port. We've gone from scanning about 6 to 10% to scanning 100%, man. This government is working to keep you safe. So when they're talking about guns in the country, well, how you think they get here? Well, if you got cameras and they don't work and you don't care, that's how they get here. And we are making sure that you are safe and keeping you safe. But we did not stop there, because people have to hear these things. We now have a remote underwater vehicle. It wasn't working. We renovated it and upgraded it. And what that does is that goes under the water and it looks at the hull. Commanders tie drugs to the hull. And it's going to be under the water checking to see if they're bringing in drugs in Barbados. We are taking care of you, and there are many more. But I want to tell you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the choice has never been clearer. It is a choice between a future for you and your children and going back to a bitter, sordid past that we have now moved beyond. It is a choice between a woman who is a woman of hard work and dignity and community service against someone that the Dems are branding for some reason and you cannot hear his authentic voice. That is the choice that you face. And we want Tony Moore because we have places to go, so here we are. This Barbados Labour Party has been very clear in its course. We have been very deliberate about our deliverables. We are focused on our follow-through. We are going to make sure that you are better off than you were. We are treating to COVID because we know that we have to look after you. Give us Tony Moore. If I could, I would vote with my toe, my knee, and more. Because we could do no better now than we could ever before, because Tony Moore will take us where we have to go. I am so proud to say that I am a member of the Barbados Labour Party family that is bringing back Labour because Labour started with us. And that we are continuing now our marriage with Labour to look after people. I want to continue walking through here with Tony Moore. As I close, let me tell you, yesterday I said to Tony, because I've been working with Tony now for a while, I said, Tony, again, a little darker. And she had off her slippers, and the top part was dark, and the bottom part clear. I say, you're spending a lot of time in the sun. She said, Kirk, I don't want nobody give me nothing. I working for the vote from the people. They say no coronation. Tony is working for you. Come November 11th, the choice is clear. Go to the polls. Give your vote to a woman of the people. Support the Barbados Labour Party. Support our candidate, Tony Moore, and in so doing, support yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. God bless. You know I love you. Have a wonderful evening.